Ava held her children's hands as they walked up the snowy path toward Claire's house. Christmas lights glowed beautifully across the roof, and warm laughter floated from inside. Ella, only 9, smiled up at her mother. Noah, 6 years old and excited, carried a small gift he had wrapped himself. Ava felt a small warmth in her chest. Maybe this year would be better. Maybe Claire would finally treat her children with love. But the moment she knocked, everything changed. Claire opened the door with a stiff smile. The kind of smile that felt more like a warning. Her eyes moved over Ava, then to the children, and something cold settled in her face. "Oh, Ava. You're here," she said flatly. Ava forced a polite smile. "Merry Christmas, Claire." The kids were so excited, but Claire cut her off. "Actually, it's a smaller gathering this year." She blocked the doorway with her body. "Just immediate family." Ava blinked, confused. "What do you mean?" "We're family." Claire's jaw tightened. "Not tonight." Ella's fingers curled tighter around Ava's coat. Noah's little face slowly fell as he looked up at his aunt. "But Aunt Claire," Ella whispered. "We brought gifts." Claire didn't even look at the girl. "I'm sorry, but I don't want the kids inside today." From behind her, Travis stood awkwardly near the dining table, pretending not to hear. He met Ava's eyes for a brief second, guilt flashing across his face, then looked away. He didn't say a single word. Snowflakes drifted down gently, sticking to the kids' hair. The warm light inside the house made the cold air outside feel even harsher. Ava felt her cheeks burn with shame. "Did we do something wrong?" she asked quietly. Claire sighed impatiently. "Ava, don't make this dramatic. I just want a peaceful evening. Last year your kids were too loud." Ava opened her mouth to defend them, but her children beat her to it, their small bodies pressing against her legs. "Mom," Noah whispered. "Why doesn't she want us?" Ava's heart twisted painfully. She could accept being treated badly, but not her children. Never her children. She swallowed the rising ache in her throat. "Come on," she said softly. "Let's go." She turned away. No one stopped her. No one called her name. Behind her, Claire shut the door without even saying goodbye. The sound echoed in the cold night like a final rejection. As Ava helped the kids into the car, Ella began to cry silently. Noah wiped his eyes with the back of his hand, trying to be brave. Ava started the engine, but for a long moment she could not move. She stared through the windshield at the glowing house. A house she had helped keep afloat by paying half the rent every month. Claire knew it. Claire depended on it. Yet she still had the heart to push Ava's children away. As they drove through the quiet streets, the kids' soft sobs filled the car. Ava's voice broke as she whispered to herself. "That night, I realized something. Claire had pushed me for years, but this time, something in me finally broke." Ava was a hardworking HR manager, a single mom, and a woman who had learned to survive through pain. Her divorce from Damon had not been simple or gentle. It had drained her, broken her trust, and forced her to rebuild her life from the ground up, all while raising 2 young kids. Every morning, she woke up before the sun, packed lunchboxes, tied shoelaces, prepared breakfast, and got her children ready for school before rushing to work. She never complained. She loved her children more than anything, and she wanted to give them a life that felt stable, safe, and full of love, something she herself never fully had while growing up. Ava and her sister Claire had never been close, even when they were young. Their parents had made sure of that without even realizing it. Claire was always called the pretty one. She had shiny hair, soft cheeks, and a delicate smile that adults adored. Their parents praised her beauty as if it was the only thing that mattered. They took thousands of photos of Claire, complimented her outfits, bought her nicer gifts, and spoke proudly about her to friends and relatives. Ava, on the other hand, was the responsible one. The child who got good grades, won competitions, and helped around the house. But instead of praise, she always heard things like, "That's what we expect from you," or "Claire can't do these things, she's delicate." Slowly, Ava learned to stay quiet. She became the peacekeeper. The one who always apologized first, even when she wasn't wrong. The one who forgave easily. The one who did not expect anything in return. Claire learned something very different. She learned she deserved more. She learned people should bend for her. She learned that she could treat others however she liked, because someone would always clean up the mess for her. As adults, nothing changed. A year ago, Claire lost her job. She told everyone she was taking a break, but the truth was simple. She had been fired for refusing to follow rules. Claire blamed everyone but herself. She cried to Ava, saying she was scared they would lose their home, that she didn't know how to pay rent, that Travis's income wasn't enough because his shifts were irregular and unpredictable. And Ava, because she was Ava, quietly stepped in. She set up a monthly automatic transfer straight into Claire's bank account. Half the rent, every month. She never told anyone. She didn't want praise. She didn't want thanks. She only wanted her sister to be safe and her nieces to have a roof over their heads. But the painful part? Claire never treated her better. Not once. Even with Ava helping her survive each month, Claire still acted superior, still looked down on her, still talked to her like she was the lesser sister. And Ava took it. She took every sharp comment, every cold look, every dismissive gesture. She told herself it was fine. Family was family. And maybe, just maybe, things would get better someday. Ava's children, Ella and Noah, adored their Aunt Claire. They always saw the best in people. They believed family meant love. But even they could sense something was wrong. Claire hugged her own kids tighter. She spoke to them more sweetly. She gave them more attention. But with Ella and Noah, her warmth always felt thinner, forced. Sometimes she ignored their stories or brushed off their excitement. And sometimes, she rolled her eyes when they weren't looking. Ava noticed. It hurt her. But she pretended everything was okay because she wanted her kids to grow up feeling loved, feeling accepted, feeling like they belonged somewhere. She had always feared that her kids would grow up feeling the same way she did. Like love had to be earned, like affection was conditional, like they were always one mistake away from being unwanted. That fear pushed Ava to keep the peace at all costs. She swallowed her frustration for years. She allowed Claire to cross lines she shouldn't have. She supported her financially, emotionally, and even socially. She gave more than she could afford to give. But everything changed on Christmas Eve. Standing outside Claire's home, being told her children weren't welcome, watching her daughter's eyes fill with confusion and hurt, it broke something inside Ava. It was no longer about her. It was about her kids. Her innocent, gentle children who had done nothing wrong, but were treated like outsiders. For the first time in her life, Ava realized she couldn't keep protecting Claire's feelings while letting her own children suffer. Something deep inside her shifted that night. A quiet strength she had buried long ago finally rose to the surface. Christmas Eve became the moment Ava understood one simple truth. This wasn't just disrespect. It was cruelty. And she couldn't allow it anymore. It was the final straw after years of being pushed down, ignored and used. And Ava knew, from that night forward, nothing would ever be the same again. Your kids were too loud last year. I don't want to repeat. That was the message Ava saw on her phone the next morning. No griting. No apology. No explanation. Just a cold, sharp sentence from Claire. The same sister who had left her children standing outside in the snow on Christmas Eve. Ava stared at the message for a long moment, her hands trembling slightly. Her kids? Too loud? Ella and Noah had been nothing but polite and gentle last Christmas. They had sat quietly, played calmly, and even helped clean up without being asked. Ava knew the truth. The problem wasn't her kids. The problem was Claire. Still, reading those words felt like another slap. Ava sat down on the edge of the couch, her breath growing unsteady. She didn't know how she would explain this to her children, especially after the way Claire had turned them away the night before. As she stared at the screen, she didn't notice Ella slowly walking into the living room. The little girl rubbed her sleepy eyes and looked at her mother's sad face. Mom. Ella whispered. Ava quickly tried to turn off her phone, but she wasn't fast enough. Ella had already seen the message. Her small voice tightened. Mom, are we embarrassing to Aunt Claire? The question hit Ava so hard she felt her chest tighten. She looked at her daughter, her sweet, caring, gentle daughter, whose eyes were now full of doubt and pain. Ava shook her head quickly. No, baby. Absolutely not. You and Noah are wonderful. There is nothing wrong with you. Ella stared at the floor. But she didn't want us there. And she said we were loud. Ava pulled Ella onto her lap and hugged her tightly. She wished she could protect her daughter from every cruel word, every moment of rejection, every wound that could stay in her heart forever. But she couldn't protect her from Claire anymore. Not if Claire kept hurting them. Something inside Ava snapped, softly, quietly, but permanently. For years, she had tried to keep peace. She had tried to be understanding. She had tried to be patient. She had tried to be the good daughter, the good sister, the one who never complained. But now her children were being hurt, and that was a line she could no longer allow anyone to cross. When Ella went to get Noah for breakfast, Ava stood up slowly and walked to her desk. She took a deep breath, opened her laptop, and logged into her online banking portal. Her heart pounded as she scrolled to the scheduled transactions. The automatic payment she had been sending to Claire every month. Half the rent. 11 months straight. Money Claire never thanked her for. Money Claire expected, demanded, felt entitled to. Ava hovered her finger over the cancel button. For the first time, she did not hesitate. She clicked. A message popped up. Your automatic payment has been canceled. Ava closed her eyes. Instead of guilt, she felt something else, something she hadn't felt in years. Strength, calm, clarity. She wasn't doing anything cruel. She wasn't doing anything wrong. She was simply choosing herself. She was choosing her children. She was choosing peace. She didn't reply to Claire's text. She didn't explain herself. She didn't apologize. She owed Claire nothing. Later, as she watched Ella and Noah eat breakfast, laughing at something silly, Ava felt a strange mix of sadness and relief. She wasn't used to choosing her own well-being. She wasn't used to saying no. But she knew this was the right step. Claire would soon notice the missing payment. A storm was coming. Ava could feel it. But this time she didn't feel afraid. For the first time in her life, she wasn't bending to protect someone who mistreated her. For the first time ever, Ava chose herself over family expectations. And deep inside, she knew this was only the beginning. She bombs Ava's phone with messages, accusatory, angry, and full of blame. It started early in the morning. Claire had just received a call from her landlord telling her the rent was overdue. For the first time in almost a year, the money wasn't there. And Claire knew exactly who to blame. Ava's phone buzzed again and again. Are you serious right now? You didn't send the rent. What kind of sister does this? Do you want me homeless? After everything I've done for you? Ava sat on her couch, watching each message pop up. She didn't reply. She felt strangely calm. There was pain, yes, but the bigger feeling was clarity. She had made the right choice, but Claire wasn't done. More messages came. You ruined my Christmas. You humiliated me. My kids are asking questions. Are you proud of that? Ava locked her phone and placed it face down on the table. A minute later, it buzzed again. This time it was a voice note. Ava hesitated, then pressed play. Claire's voice filled the room, crying dramatically. You know how hard things are for me, Claire sobbed. You know Travis doesn't make enough. You know I depend on that money. And you just stop? Without warning? What kind of person are you becoming? You're so selfish, Ava. So ungrateful. I always supported you. Ava closed the message halfway through. None of it was true. Claire had never supported her. Not emotionally, not financially, not in any real way. A second voice note arrived, and this one was yelling. I swear if I get kicked out, it's on you. I can't believe you're punishing me for one small mistake. Your kids were loud. You never take responsibility. You think you're better than everyone. Well, guess what? You're not. Ava's fingers tightened around the phone, but she still didn't reply. She wouldn't be dragged into the same cycle again. Then Travis's name appeared on the screen. Ava sighed deeply and answered. His voice was shaky. Ava, please. Claire is losing it. The landlord is coming tomorrow. We don't have the money. Can you just help this one time? Please, for the kids. Ava breathed slowly, steadying herself. Travis, she said calmly. I helped for 11 months. I can't keep doing it. I won't. There was silence. Then a quiet sigh of defeat. I understand. I think. But she won't. She's saying the whole family will hear about this. I know, Ava replied quietly. And that's fine. When they hung up, Ava felt a strange heaviness. But she knew she had to stay firm. She didn't have to wait long for the next storm. Her family group chat, the Morgan family, exploded. Her aunt wrote first. Claire says you stopped helping with rent. What is going on? Then her uncle. Ava, why would you embarrass your sister like this? Another message popped up. Your mother is very upset. She said you're tearing the family apart. Ava closed the chat without replying. But she knew she had to see her mother eventually. So that evening, she drove over. Her mother opened the door with a frown already on her face. Ava, how could you do this to Claire? Ava stepped inside quietly. Mom, she left my kids outside on Christmas Eve. Her mother waved her hand as if brushing away dust. It was a misunderstanding. Claire was under stress. That doesn't excuse it, Ava said, her voice tighter now. Ella cried herself to sleep. Her mother didn't soften. She didn't even look bothered. Claire is the older sister. Sometimes she makes decisions you don't like, but you don't embarrass her. Not like this. Ava felt something inside her crack. The same something she had been holding together since childhood. Years of being the quiet one. The responsible one. The ignored one. The daughter who was expected to handle everything while Claire was excused for everything. All those years rushed forward. Mom, Ava began, her voice shaking. You have never stood up for me. Never. Not once. Every time Claire hurt me, you told me to let it go. Every time she took something from me, you told me to share. When I did well, you barely noticed. But when Claire smiled, you acted like the sun came out. Her mother stiffened. That's not true. It is true, Ava said, tears rising. And now you're doing the same thing to my kids. You are telling them that Claire matters more, that their feelings don't count, and I won't let that happen anymore. Silence filled the room. For the first time in her life, Ava didn't back down. Her mother looked away, refusing to answer, which was all the answer Ava needed. Ava left without another word. Meanwhile, Claire's world was falling apart. Her landlord taped an eviction notice on the door. Travis and Claire screamed at each other late into the night. Their children sat in their bedroom, listening, frightened and confused. They heard their mother accuse their father. They heard their father blame their mother. They heard Claire shout Ava's name over and over again. Their perfect image of their household cracked. The pressure kept building, like a storm waiting to break. And Ava, for the first time, was no longer the one holding everything together. Claire shows up at Ava's workplace, furious, loud and dramatic. It happens on a busy afternoon. Ava is at her desk, finishing an email, when she suddenly hears sharp footsteps and someone shouting her name. She looks up and sees Claire storming into the office. Her hair is messy, her eyes red from crying, and her face full of anger. Ava! Claire yells, loud enough for everyone to hear. How dare you do this to me? Ava stands slowly, trying to stay calm as her co-workers look on in shock. Claire marches toward her. You are vindictive. You are selfish. You are jealous of me. That's why you stopped paying my rent. You want to see me fail. Ava breathes deeply. Claire, this is not the place. No. Claire cuts her off, waving her hands wildly. You think you're so perfect. You think everyone loves you. Well, guess what? You're ruining everything. You're tearing this family apart. People gather around quietly. Some whisper. Some pretend not to look but still watch. Ava's voice stays calm. Claire, please stop. You're making a scene. Oh, now you care about embarrassment? Where was that concern when you humiliated me? Claire snaps. You didn't come to my Christmas gathering because you wanted to punish me. Ava looks her sister straight in the eyes. Claire. I saw your photos online. Claire freezes. Ava continues, her voice firm but not loud. Your house was not having a small gathering. It was full. Full of people. Full of food. Full of decorations. And full of children. The office becomes silent. Ava takes a step closer. You invited other kids, but not mine. You lied to me. You turned my children away, while other children were inside celebrating. Claire's face drops. Her lips tremble. Her anger disappears, replaced by panic. Ava finishes softly. Why would you do that? Claire's strength breaks like thin glass. She covers her face, then lowers her hands, tears falling openly. Because, her voice cracks. Because I can't stand it anymore. Ava frowns, confused. Claire's voice shakes harder. Everyone praises you. Everyone says you're the strong one. The responsible one. The good mother. People compare us all the time. They say your kids are so polite, so well-behaved, so kind. And mine are always loud, always struggling. I'm tired, Ava. I'm tired of feeling less than you. A gasp moves through the office. Claire wipes her tears angrily. I didn't want your kids there because they make me feel like a failure. When people see them next to mine, I feel judged. I feel invisible. Ava's heart aches, but she stays steady. Claire, she says quietly, my children are not emotional punching bags for your insecurities. Claire's crying grows louder. She tries to speak but can't. Ava continues, voice calm but firm, firmer than she has ever allowed herself to be. I won't let you hurt them again. And I am done funding your lifestyle. Done paying your rent. Done being your safety net. Claire's knees weaken. She grabs a chair to keep herself from collapsing. Around them, co-workers stare, some shocked, some sad, some angry at Claire's behavior. But no one steps in. Everyone can see the truth now. The control Claire had over Ava for years is gone. Please, Claire whispers, shaking. I need you. Ava shakes her head gently. You need to take responsibility for your life, Claire. Not use me to avoid it. Claire breaks down completely. Tears stream down her face. She covers her mouth, sobbing loudly, her body shaking. Ava stands there still, strong, unmoving. For the first time in her life, she is not the one giving in. She is not the one apologizing. She is not the one trying to fix everything. This time, she chooses peace. And in front of everyone, Claire realizes her power over Ava. The power she had used for decades is gone. Ava takes her kids to a cozy little restaurant and creates a new Christmas tradition. The place is small and warm, with soft lights and the smell of fresh bread in the air. The moment they sit down, her children relax. For the first time that day, they smile, real, gentle smiles that reach their eyes. Ava watches them carefully. These children have been pulled into too many fights, too many arguments, too much tension that they never asked for. And she decides, it ends today. She lifts her cup of hot chocolate and says softly, from now on Christmas is ours. Just us. A place where no one is shouting, no one is comparing, and no one is hurting each other. Her son nods. Her daughter moves closer and leans her head on Ava's shoulder. Ava holds them both and feels her heart swell. She didn't grow up with peace, but she will give it to them. Better late than never. They eat, laugh a little, and talk about things that make them happy. Ava feels something she hasn't felt in a long, long time. Control. Not control over others, but control over her own life. Later that week, the rest of the family starts dealing with the consequences of their actions. Claire moves out of her rented home, because her marriage is falling apart. All the fights, all the lies, all the pressure she put on Ava. Her husband finally refuses to carry it anymore. For once, Ava does not feel guilty. She whispers to herself, everyone must live with the choices they make. Ava also starts therapy. She sits on a soft couch, her hands shaking at first, but she speaks. She tells the therapist about the years of blame, guilt, and manipulation. She talks about being the responsible one, the strong one, the problem solver for everyone except herself. And slowly, piece by piece, she begins to unpack the heavy memories she has carried since she was a child. Her therapist gives her tools, how to set boundaries, how to recognize emotional traps, how to protect her peace without feeling selfish. And Ava uses them. She becomes firm but calm, clear but kind, strong without shouting. Ava sets new rules with her family. No more last-minute demands. No more guilt trips. No more taking her kindness for granted. No more emotional manipulation. If someone doesn't respect her boundaries, she steps back without explaining herself 1,000 times. And for the first time ever, Ava stops apologizing for choosing peace. She breathes lighter. She sleeps better. She smiles without forcing it. A quiet sense of freedom blooms inside her. Soft at first, then stronger each day. This time, she knows it's real. This time, she knows she is building a life that belongs to her, not one controlled by others. And slowly, beautifully, Ava becomes the woman she always wished she could be. Calm, free, and finally in charge of her own story. You are never too loud, too much, or too anything. You are enough. Ava wrote the words carefully on a small piece of paper and slipped it into her children's memory box. Ella and Noah had been laughing and chatting earlier, full of life, full of energy, the kind of energy that Claire had never appreciated. Now the house was quiet. The soft glow of the nightlight lit their faces as they slept, tangled in blankets, peaceful and safe. Ava sat beside them on the edge of the bed, watching their small chests rise and fall with each calm breath. She felt a gentle warmth in her chest, a weight lifting from years of worry and fear. She had finally protected her children from the hurt they did not deserve. She had chosen them over expectations, over pressure, over guilt. Ava smiled softly, brushing a strand of hair from Ella's forehead. She whispered to herself, "We are okay. We are free." That year, she realized she didn't need anyone's approval for her children to feel loved. And for the first time, the three of them felt it fully: peace, safety, and freedom. The soft hum of the night wrapped around them, and Ava closed her eyes, letting herself finally breathe. That year, I stopped begging people to love my children. And for the first time, we felt free. Hey besties, thanks for sticking with me till the end. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing stories. Bye.